Welcome back to this training, and in this video I'm going to show you how to write your first HTML officially, how to write your HTML code that makes sense and that we can actually call a website right now. So to write your first HTML code, you need to create a folder where you will store all your files. So for this, I just open my VS Code and then I'm going to click open folder. Actually, I do not have any folder in mind right now, but I'm just going to go to, or let me go to my document. Okay, it's a new one here. Let me create a new folder here, and then to create a new folder, I just right click and you see new. So for this new folder, I'm just going to call it HTML. I really want it to speak. Make sure your folder is speaking what you need. So I click select folder, and now it is loading for me. So what we have here now, let me quickly explain what this dialog box means. This dialog is a security check. Now, actually, you can choose to trust the authors. The authors means that the parent folder or everything inside there. So I can choose to trust the author. If you don't trust the authors, it's just going to open in a read mode, a compatibility mode that you won't be able to edit. If you trust your authors, you'll be able to make editings like making live changes. But trusting the author of all files in the parent folder, it is risky, but it is okay if you know that you have a security setup on your laptop. Maybe you use any form of antivirus or use any form of security against ransomware or any cyber attack. You can trust the author of all the files, but if you know that it is not 100% protected, please do not trust the author of all files, because at any point in time any virus can just launch itself into your laptop, and it's very dangerous because you may not know how to handle it. So for this case, I'm clicking yes, I trust the author of this folder alone. So now is recommending to us, like the interface is recommending a few things onto us, like using GitHub Copilot and all of that. Actually, GitHub Copilot, what that does is fine. It suggests code for you. It gives you auto completion for all your code, but it is not the very best option because it is not free. So yeah, for this one, you're going to be creating a new file, and by just pressing this plus icon. So there are two plus icon there. The one is file, the second one is folder. So if you are pressing the first one, it means we are creating a file under the HTML folder we created. And if you create this new folder, it means we are creating a subfolder. You know what I call a subfolder is a child folder under a parent folder. So here I just created a new file, and I'm going to be naming it index.html. Now I'm going to tell you the reason why I named this index. There are a few things attached to it, a few reasons attached to it. You can give it any name that you like, but primarily an index page is the home page of every website. Every website that you have seen online, maybe Facebook, Google, any website that you see, if you can just type google.com and you press enter, what it leads to is a file inside of the google.com directory that contains index.html. So it could be index.html or index.php depending on the programming language, but it cannot be index.css that is going to load first, cannot be index.js that is loading first, because those ones, they are behavioral and styling patterns. So they are styling languages and behavioral like languages, but these one are this markup language defines the structure of the website, while PHP is actually is majorly a web programming language. So if you use index.php, Facebook runs on index.php. If you go to wikipedia.com, you are not pressing any file after the main website that you just press. What you do is that you just go to any website, you just press .com, .net, blah 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 blah. The first thing you see after you hit enter is an index page. So I'll call this index.html, and Now we get to the aspect of this. I could just write this out literally, and I would give you the shortcuts as a beginner, which will be very helpful for you. But it is not nice if you take the shortcut first, because it's going to make you lazy and you may not really understand what exactly you are doing with the shortcut. So the first thing you will need is that you are going to declare the type of document that you are running with. So we have different levels of HTML, we have different version, we have HTML 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we are running on HTML5 right now, and the syntax is a little bit different from HTML4 and other previous HTML versions. It's actually the easiest of all of them, and that's the reason why it is very easy to use. So for now, I'm just going to press less than, so everything will be writing in code. We'll be starting with less than in HTML. So less than, and then I'll be writing this exclamation mark by pressing Shift and 1 on my keyboard. So like you're making a noise that you want to make a document type declaration. So naturally this application is giving me DOCTYPE suggestion. This was not happening when I was using the Notepad, and the reason why I have this is because this is running on an integrated development environment, and what this means is that it automatically going to give us suggestions on what we are supposed to do. It's going to give us suggestion on what it thought that we want to write. It's going to give us automated auto completing. It's going to give us syntax highlighting. It's going to give us auto correction, and these are the features of integrated development environment. These are the things that are embedded inside a code editor that makes it different from just a text editor. So the previous one was just a text editor. This one now is a code editor because it has integration embedded inside it, auto completion, a lot of plugins and tools that will make the work more efficient and effective. So I'm just going to type DOCTYPE. So this means document type, which means we are declaring the type of document that we are creating now. So the document type that we're creating now is HTML. So just type HTML like this and then close it with this greater than sign. So basically we are just starting the structure of the website, and then after this it is nice that you write your HTML, you declare HTML again. It is not bad here, just put your HTML. Now in HTML there's something we call element. So an element contains an opening tag, a content and a closing tag. Let me take that again. An element contains an opening tag, the body or the content and the closing tag. So actually there are some elements that do not follow this pattern. These elements are called void elements. So void elements, they are called because they do not have a closing element per se or a closing tag. So what does a tag mean? A tag is represented by pressing less than or any code, any text you see in between a less than and a greater than sign. Even though we do not call it a less than and greater than sign in programming, we just call this a tag. So whatever you see a complete like this is a tag. So this is an HTML tag. The first one is a opening tag, and the second one is a closing tag. And the difference between the opening and the closing is that you can see a / here, which shows that you are done with this one. You are done with this element at a whole. So I'm still going to explain it in details for you guys because I really want you to get it to the fullest, and that's why I'm taking my time to explain the nitty-gritty like this, like what most people will not do for you in any other place. I'm very sure about that. Nobody's going to take time to be explaining all this nonsense that looks dirty like this, but these are the nitty-gritty and you really need to pay attention to them so that you don't fuck up when you're writing your code. So this is HTML, the opening tag, and HTML, the closing tag. Now writing this is telling us that we are creating we are giving our web browser an idea of what exactly we are doing, that this HTML is a root element. So you can see according to this MDM is Mozilla Developer Network. So according to the Mozilla Developer Network reference, it says that the HTML element represents the root of an HTML document. So our HTML document is .html, so it is proving to us that this is the foundation. When they call something the root, so it is is the part that do not appear on outside, but it is within. So it is the part that embodies other part of code. So inside this HTML tag is all we'll be writing every other code that we'll be doing, whether we want to embed PHP inside or want to embed some other JavaScript or any other stuff inside of this. So after this, actually I told you the other time, like a website is like a human being, and if you look at the structure of a human being has the head, and the human being has the body. So the website is also divided into that structure. We have the head and we have the body. I would not like this to look so scanty or to look scattered, rather. So we have the head and we have the body. So while I don't want this to look scattered too, I like you to get it in full. So we have the head. The head now usually contains some identification information. So the head of everybody, if they mask the face of a person, there's tendency that will not be able to identify that person again. But if you unmask the person's face, and you hide the person's leg, there's still possibility that you identify the person, because identification starts, or identification actually resides on the head. So everything that we are going to be using to identify our website is hidden inside the head element. So I really need you to pay attention to this, pay good attention to it. The identification we need for our website are going to be hidden inside the head element. So every other thing that we see in the body, they are the content, they are the things that are going to be delivered to the public. But for identification's sake, through on the server, for identification's sake, even when you search online, and to identify the name of the website or the name of the page that we are on, the author of the page, so all of those things, we call them the meta attributes. So the meta element rather, and we are going to be taking them one by one. So inside the head, I'm just going to create the first one that I really feel that we need right now is the title tag. Now I would like you to make sure that you are writing your code in with a structure that is readable. So HTML here, HTML head, so that it is simple and plain and straightforward. You can easily understand what you're writing. So within this head and this head, I'm going to write in title. Now the autocomplete will do the remaining for me. It may not appear like that in some other applications. So but for VS Code, I told you it is beginner friendly, so it's going to appear like that. So the title, like we used the other time in the previous video, the title is going to be used to describe the page that we are actively on. So I would say the title of this page right now is official, let's say, introduction to web. So this is okay for this now. This will be the title. So it is these that we're going to be using to identify. So Mozart calls the title element represent a document title or name. So we'll be using this to identify the website actually. And then inside this, I can just keep the remaining for now because I don't want to boil you down with unnecessary information that you may not really pay attention to later. So because your VS Code or your code editor is going to take care of a lot of things for you. That's why we have AI for you. So inside this body, the body is going to contain all the elements that we want to put in the main page, in the white space or in the white area of the page. So for this one, I'm just going to write this is the body of the website. And for this right now, let me just open this up in my browser. But to open this up in my browser, I really don't know how to open this up except I show you this method that I use. There are different methods to open this up. Now you can use a live server. You can come to your extension in VS Code. I'm not going to use any extension right now. Just if you are interested in doing that, just search for live server in this place, LIVESERVER. So live server takes care of your code automatically. It's going to be running your file in the browser because it's going to launch a web page for you. Now I will try to do this in the traditional method, and the traditional method we have me to check where this file is located in. So, and I can actually come to this place and say run and say run active file. If I go to terminal, rather I'll just say run active file, but I really don't want to use this. This can look messy, this can look not very pretty for us to use. So what I'll do is that I'll open this file in the availability in the file explorer, and that means I'm going to show you it in the location that it is being saved. So you can see this index, and then I'm going to double click on it to load my browser right here. You can see this introduction to web as a title, and you can see this is the body of the text inside the body. So what you write in the title or what you write in the head are going to be only from this dark area of my own browser, and what you write in the body is going to be in the white area of your browser. So every website that you see, whether you press it on your smartphone or you press it on your big phone, every website you see on your laptop, any device, actually has a structure of the head part and the body part. So the head part describes, so the head part may contain meta information about the author, because it is usually used for search engine optimization. If you need a video on that, I already have a course on search engine optimization. You can get that one later, but for this sake, I'm just gonna we can see that I already have my file run. I really don't need this one again. I have my file running on this browser, and if I had any other thing to it, let's see and say, oh wow, I can't believe I wrote my first code. I can't believe, the same way you are amazed, the same way I'm amazed. So what I only have to do here is just to refresh my browser, and then you can see, oh wow, I can't believe I wrote my first code. So this is just basically how it works. So this is our first code here, and then what I will do now is that we really may not need all of this again, so I'll clean it and give you the shortcut to this. So using the boilerplate, what I'll just do is just press shift and 1 on my keyboard, and automatically I'll press tab here. Automatically it generates for us most of the things we may not really have to be racking our brain for. But let me walk you through what all of this means, because this is a whole lot of information that could be strange to you. So this is document type declaration, which you have mentioned before, and this is HTML element. You can see where it starts and then where it's stopping again. You can see where this body is starting and stopping, and head element starting and stopping. These are the basic structure, the most important part that you actually need. Now in HTML, whenever we have our element, this element title can also possess another information inside it. The information it possesses inside it is called an attribute. So an attribute is used to give a description about an element. So an attribute too could have values inside it, and I'm going to address that very very well. So for this one, HTML, and then we have the attribute of language, which is set to English right here. The reason why it is set to English is because not all websites are actually coded with English. You can visit some websites sometimes, and what you will see is maybe a Spanish, or what you see is in Portuguese, or what you see is in French. So at times your Google translator might try to help you and say, display this page in which language. Do you want it to display in the native language, or you want it to display in English language? What makes that to be possible is because the HTML language of the website was set up. So if the language was not set up, it's not going to render the website for you. I don't know if you have ever stumbled on any website, maybe a Chinese website, and then the whole stuff you see there, there's no English, there's nothing you can understand. It's actually because the website was coded with a Chinese language, and then maybe it was not indicated that it should be available for translation. So for this case, I just leave it at English, and then Meta Chat said this is a combination of characters. So it tells us about the character encoding that we are using for our document. You really don't have to bother about this because it's going to take care of itself. This is UTF-8. We have some others too. We have UTF-16. We have different character sets. So we have ASCII high and all of that. But really, all of that, do not bother. We don't have any issue with that. Just set it to UTF-8 and you are done. And then we have, what exactly does meta mean? Meta is just a way of describing, so, or a data. So meta means data or description. So I'll say meta name right now. So we are describing another thing important to this website. So the viewport, which means that the port from which this website is being viewed. So we have this content equals width equals device hyphen width. I know this is a long one actually, and then we have initial scale equals 1.0. Let me quickly walk you through what this means. What this means is that whichever device that is being used to visit the website should try to maximize that screen size. Oh yeah, so width equals to device width. So if your laptop, or if you are using a small phone, you would notice, maybe you're using all this old small phone, you notice that the website at times will not be bigger. If you don't set this up, the website will be bigger or wider rather than the width of the screen of your phone. But if you set it up, this is used for responsive web design, and you can check up my tutorial on responsive web design. I wrote a bunch of articles on that, and I feel it's going to be helpful to you. So we also have initial scale equals 1.0, which means we are setting into true that automatically is going to scale into the screen resolution of the device. So we have the title again. The title is what we have been using to recognize the page we are on the website. So yeah, I'm going to stop this video right here, and then in the next video I'll be showing you deeper things about HTML. We are going to be learning heading levels in HTML and writing some basic HTML elements that you must never forget. So thank you for watching.